Hey guys, what's up? I hope you guys are all having a great day, and we are back in Division 2, and we're going to be looking at probably the biggest bane in the game right now, shade calibration. What is the fastest, most efficient way to do it, and how can we get it done as fast as possible? And if you're like me, you are completely out of resources, out of materials, you started making other alts and doing different things so you can get as much shade calibration as you can. And we're going to be showing you the most efficient paths to get this. But before we get started, if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe, that like, leave a comment. It really helps. And if you do not like to support big tech, you can also find me over on Odyssey. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't checked out the optimization station, now is the best time. We've saw some huge nerfs come into it, and now it's actually worth farming out those shade calibration points. Now, there are several different ways, but probably the most important thing you need to do is level all of your alts, get them all up to 40, get their shade watches activated so you can go out and farm in different ways. So if you didn't know, every time you level up your shade watch, whether you're at 500 or 5,000, you're going to get a point. And if you are under 1,000, you can put it into different stats. But every 5th point, you get a choice to buy a different kind of material, whether it is currency, shade calibration, maybe you need a different type of material for crafting, whatever it may be. It gives you that choice. Now, once you've hit 8,000, every level is going to give you that extra materials. So ideally, we would want to put that in shade calibration, or depending on what other material you want, if you are using the different blueprint options, and we are going to get into that in just a second. But it's a very easy way to get those shade levels, and probably one of the most efficient, but we can combine a couple different things to make our farming even more efficient. Now, they also introduced in different blueprints that came in, and a lot of new blueprints. Now, if you haven't got any of these, I would suggest getting these as well, because you can trade in different common materials in for shade recalibration, and it's a very easy, although it is a little expensive, there are a lot of ways we can find different materials very fast and very quickly, and you're going to be able to cap out your materials quite often, probably once or twice a day. Now, if you have not got these blueprints yet, I would suggest going out and getting them right now. Now, you're going to have to do them on each alt, and that's going to require you to do checkpoint 3 or checkpoint 4. You can also get it from invaded missions, but ideally you're just going to want to do checkpoints on heroic, and you're going to be able to bust out all these fairly quick. Even if you're on alt and you have 0 blueprints, you're going to be able to run through these checkpoints very quickly. Now, once you've got all your blueprints, and you don't need them on all your alts, you can do it on your main, and you're able to just grind out different materials, so you can turn that in for different shade recalibration. Although it is expensive, it is very easy to get these materials out in the world. There are different places you can go out to the dark zone, and you can just go up to the different little panels. It is going to turn you rogue for 20 seconds, so you have a chance of being attacked. But normally, I don't run into too many people. I would say about 1 in 10 I get attacked, and usually you can clean them up fairly quickly. So I would just roll in there with a PvP build if possible. If not, you're not really going to be picking up any loot. We're not really worried about that. So every time we activate one of these panels, it is going to pulse the whole area. Once it pulses, it's going to reveal all different types of caches, whether it is material caches, gear caches, as well as dark zone resources. Now, we can take up and pick up all of these. You're going to get a lot of dark zone resources, and we can save those and buy different weapons from the vendors and just dismantle them to get the different parts for optimization. But we are going to get a lot of different materials that we can use and trade in for shade calibration. Now, this is a very easy and very passive way, and it's very easy to get a lot of materials very fast, although those different caches are locked out every 24 hours. So you can just clear each DZ, go to the next one, and go to the next one, and then you're done with that for the day. Now, you can also throw your global difficulty on normal, and you can just clear out all the checkpoints on your map. Now, it's very easy to clear these normal checkpoints, and you're going to get a lot of materials. Every time you open up the cache, you're going to get a few different weapons. They're going to be purple, but you can dismantle those for different optimization materials, as well as every time you go into that cache room, there is going to be, I believe, like 3 or 4 different boxes you can open that are going to have materials. The fact that we can clear a checkpoint in less than a minute on normal makes it very efficient to go to these different checkpoints, wipe them out, you'll be done for the day. Generally, it takes less than an hour to get all these checkpoints done in New York and in Washington, D.C. Now, if you can't afford to go through every checkpoint on normal every day, it is also worth at least checking out the solar farm. It is a checkpoint near the Washington Monument, very easy to clear out, but if you go there, you're going to notice there is a lot of material boxes out there, and if you throw some resources to your dude after you unlock the checkpoint, you're going to be able to find them all, and you're going to clean up fairly fast and fairly quick, although this is on a 24 lockout as well, so it's something you can do once a day. Now, we also have the projects which reward 1 shade calibration for the daily and 5 for the weekly. Now, honestly, unless you can do these passively on the side and not actually have to focus on each project, they are worth doing. But if you actually have to manually do the projects, the time sink that comes into it is just not worth doing. And I would stay as far away as you can from those projects. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe you don't mind doing them, but I think it just takes way too much time. I can probably get 20 shade recalibration in the time that it takes me to do the weekly. So just do those passively. If you can't get them done, don't really worry about it, but don't go out of your way to complete these projects. Now let's talk about global events and the different leagues that we have. So we are in season 5 and we have different leagues going on, whether it is the manhunt leagues, the different global events. We have Golden Bullet going on right now, and I believe it's going to get extended because we had non-stop crashes for like the last 3 or 4 days, which was a bad day. But now we can play it, and I believe we're going to be able to play it next week as well. So keeping these on, you have different reward tiers for each global event or league, and go up to tier 10. But honestly, we are looking for those optimization station caches. Now also during those golden bullets, those guardians, those different big global events that you have to activate, we have the global event shop, and that lets you buy different caches. And the cache we are going to be looking for is the optimization station cache. Now that's going to give 1 shade calibration and a different few other optimization station materials inside that box. Now, if you are still new in your progression, it might actually be worth it just to go to those name caches and buy those, because optimization shouldn't really be a priority. Let's say you're at 100, 200 shade level. It should really only be a priority when you get kind of to the end of your progression and you are looking to min-max those builds. Now, earlier I mentioned that we can buy shade calibration every time we level up our shade level, especially if we are past that 1,000 shade level. Now it's going to take a little longer if you're under 1,000, but the fastest way to do that and to level up is resource convoys. Go out and hunt them down. We're going to show you on the map. It's very quick. You can get a shade level about every minute. Now there is a little delay in between, so you can do other different events, do different activities, bust those out if you clear up the map and you don't see any resource convoys. But every time you do that with 5 directives up, you're going to get 1 level, you're going to get 1 shade calibration. So in 10, 15, 20 minutes, you have 20 shade recalibration, and that's enough for an upgrade or whatever you want to spend those shade points on, and by far is the fastest way to get shade calibration. But it does require you to be over 1,000 shade, ideally, to get the most benefit out of these resource convoys. But it's still worth doing resource convoys if you are trying to push to that 1,000 shade, push to that 500, or whatever benchmark you are trying to reach. Now there is one final option, but it falls in kind of the same thing as the projects. It's really not worth doing and very time consuming. If you go in there on normal and you're able to bust everything out, it might be worth it, but about every 3rd challenge you're going to get a summit cache, and it has random optimization materials inside there. Honestly, I would stay away from there, but if you love the summit and you don't mind going in there and doing all the challenges, it may be worth it to you. But at the end of the day, try to stick to the resource convoys. Do your normal checkpoints, do your daily stuff to get all the materials so you can exchange it for that shade recalibration. I hope you guys have a great day. Now, if you have any tips, questions, leave them down in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching.